The Celtics suspending head coach Ime Udoka has dominated headlines the last couple of days. So joining me with updates, opinions, and an interesting take on the entire situation is writer and host for TrueHoop, Jarod Hector. Now, Jarod, there's so much to unpack here when it comes to this situation. And one of the initial early reports had us thinking a one-year suspension, but his job wasn't going to be in jeopardy. But the Celtics' official announcement of the suspension, there's a sentence in there that says, quote, "A decision about his future with the Celtics beyond this season will be made at a later date." What's your opinion after hearing that sentence and watching today's press conference?
Yeah, Brandon, when I heard that and I watched the conference, I said, look, there are things going on here that we don't know about, that have not come to light, and that frankly may never come to light. This isn't a situation as simple as he violated a team rule like we've seen many people do in the past, and it's a fireable offense. We move him up out of here and we just move on with our day. That did not happen. The Celtics did not say what the violation was. All they said was, he broke a few team and organizational violations and rules, and we felt that this punishment was worth it. And the idea that they're unsure of what they're going to do come June, again, tells me something more is going on here. And, we may never know what it is. And they're probably hoping that, a new cycle comes through, this dies down in a year, we can bring them back, maybe things are cool, everybody forgets, and we move on. But there's something more here that we may never find out.
Yeah, I mean, you raised more questions by being so quiet on the details, not giving us official details of the report, which I get because they want to protect the other female staffers involved and, just the organization as a whole. But like team basketball, president of basketball operations, Brad Stevens says, no one can control Twitter speculation. It's rampant right now. We wanted to hear something. But yesterday, I heard an interesting take that you brought up with. You raised the question about how is this situation different from former Lakers head coach Phil Jackson dating Jeanie Buss, who was the VP of basketball operations for the Lakers at that time. Can you kind of explain to us what you meant by that?
Yeah. So what I was talking about there was multiple things can be true at once, right? When the report initially broke that he had violated team rules, then we then heard by Shams Charania of The Athletic, it said he was in a consensual relationship with a female staffer, okay? And that's what everybody jumped on. And I said, well, Phil Jackson and Jeanie Buss were in a consensual relationship. Now, the part that got everybody up in arms is the fact that Udoka's longtime partner is actress Nia Long. And my point about that was we don't know the ins and outs of their relationship or what's allowed, what isn't allowed, what the deal is. We have no idea. So if you're moralizing because he cheated, I'm like, maybe we should not worry about that so much to try to figure out what was the situation here. Another piece too about this, Brandon, is that the relationship could have started consensually, and maybe the woman revoked consent as the relationship moved on. Again, we have no idea any details about this. A sort of vacuum example I want to use is if this was something as simple as Udoka committed an act of sexual assault or unwanted sexual advances, right? You still don't have to reveal the name of the staffer, who did it, or anything like that. It's simple. Oh, you did these things, fired, you're out, we move on. And they say he violated team rules. The team rules were unwanted sexual advances towards a female staffer. Boom, period, end of story. But that's not what's happening here. Wick Grossbeck, the owner of the Celtics, and Brad Stevens' press conference today, their constant vagueness, all it's going to do is continue to fuel more speculation online, which we know is extremely dangerous.
Absolutely. Everyone's come out with their take on what should happen or what happened, and we just don't know what's official reports right now, which is why we wish there would be some sort of clarification from that press conference. But all right, suspension's in place. Celtics are ready to move on. Basketball season's coming regardless. Joe Mazzulla has been named interim head coach for the time being, and the Celtics open their training camp September 27th. It's only a couple of days away. Their core group of players are back. So who is Joe Mazzulla, and can this team, with this new coach, make a run at the title?
So the Celtics start the season preseason as the favorites, right, in Vegas, plus 500 odds, right? So look, they are the same team they had last year. They added Malcolm Brogdon. That makes them even better. Now, in addition to this Udoka thing, they also have a Robert Williams, the third injury to worry about, and he's key to their defense. So that's going to take a blow. No matter how you slice this, Brandon, the Udoka situation will impact this team in some shape or form. They were planning on rolling the training camp next week with Ime doing his thing and being the voice they hear. Now, all of a sudden, it's Joe Mazzulla. It's not about Joe not being a good coach, or he wasn't prepared for this either, right? This kind of gets tossed on him. And it isn't saying that he doesn't know X's and O's, but when you move from that second or third seat and now you're in the head seat, that's a different vibe and a different ball game. It's going to take him and the team some time to get used to that. Now, the Celtics are still excellent at basketball, and they could come out and start the season and rip off 20 straight, or they could start slow and midway through the season just get on a hot streak and galvanize around this using the nobody believes in us and using the outside feel as athletes often do, right, as ways to motivate themselves. But this will impact them at some point this season.
Yeah, Ime was a great coach when it came to the X's and O's, but also the whys. Why, as you're a player, you're like, okay, I can run this screen, I can shoot here and there, but to, like you said, to galvanize and to motivate and have you playing for someone other than yourself, that's one thing that he did such a great job. I mean, they were 2 games away from winning the NBA Finals last year. Jarod, thank you for joining us. Appreciate that take, and you really got us thinking now when it comes to the situation.
Appreciate you, Brandon.